followers. Addison Bell here, ready to unleash some stuff today. Yep, ready to unleash. I actually have had a super productive morning. Actually got up a little bit late, but have been just like rocking and rolling. Worked out, journaled, wrote my article, about to see a client, get my day started with clients, hanging out with you amazing people. So it is a good morning. It is a good morning. I even have like one of my favorite dresses on. I was just like, I'm over pants. I'm like, free the legs. So I am no super over pants. So today I put one of my favorite dresses on. So anyway, that is besides the point. So today I've really actually been stewing with this one concept, and it's not something new that has come into my awareness just suddenly, but it has really been stirring probably the last month or so, and I've been doing a lot of observation, because as somebody who is a spiritual student, but also a spiritual teacher, I sit with clients all the time talking about spiritual concepts, but also I'm always in my own learning. I've been noticing a lot of people using spiritual jargon, spiritual concepts to negotiate through anything. And I don't mean in a positive way. I mean, really using spiritual terminology and spiritual concepts to get out of bad behavior, to get out of things not truly connected to self. Really detaching, using our spirituality as a shield versus as something to expand us and to really shed our light, shed our deeper self. And this really became apparent yesterday. I was talking to a woman, and she was telling me about this romantic relationship she has. And this man is really abusive, like incredibly abusive to her. And she's like, but he's my twin flame. And so of course there's going to be some resistance. Of course there's going to be some fighting and blah, blah, blah. And I understand this twin flame concept, but I looked at her and I was like, a twin flame does not equal it okay for him to be abusing you. Emotionally, physically, like that's not okay. That's still not okay. And so let's own it. Let's stop using the spirituality to really back this up and just go, I'm not standing up for myself. I'm allowing this into my world. All of these things. And then just really thinking about, I keep hearing the word alignment from people, and alignment is an amazing thing. You hear me talk about alignment all the time. It is one of the big pieces of my practice, alignment, selfishness. I talk about selfishness and how it's important to be selfish. I talk about how you need to stay out of your ego, all of these spiritual concepts. But alignment is a huge one in our relationships. I hear oftentimes people going, well, that relationship's just not aligned for me. It's not aligned for me. And what they're saying is actually not that it's not truly aligned. They're using that terminology to not do their work, to not step in. And selfishness is the same thing. I'm a huge proponent of selfishness. It's important that you take care of yourself, and that you are the most important person in your world. However, if that selfishness turns into self-centeredness, which is a very, very thin line, guys, it is, then that's when it gets toxic. That's when it's negative. Selfishness, when you are truly depleted, is important. It is important to step in. Like, I have several people in my world right now that I look at, I go, girl or dude, you do need to be selfish right now. You need to be selfish. Right now, you need to go and take care of yourself. You need to fill yourself. You don't have anything left to give. You really need to focus in on self. But there does come a point where we are always being selfish. We are always putting self first. And so, excuse me, we miss out on those opportunities to grow ourselves by going outside of ourselves in helping somebody, by, for a moment, putting somebody else, not first, but putting somebody else's needs for a moment first, going, you know, I really want to go take a bath, but it's not a huge deal. I am going to go help, you know, my child with their project because they really are struggling. And even though I'm like, I really want to self-care right now, I have enough to give in this moment that I can go and give to somebody else. I have enough to really feed somebody else in this moment. But we like to use these we like to use these spiritual concepts to get us out of doing anything. One of the ones that actually oftentimes stirs me the most is I'm not responsible for your feelings, because this is so incredibly true. And on one end, when we take responsibility for other people's feelings, number one, we're not empowering them. We're not giving them energy, how to grow and expand and hold their own stuff, all of these important things in our world. However, if we are constantly belittling somebody, going at them, being negative, attacking them, and we go, I'm not responsible for your feelings, guess what? That's just being an asshole. It is. Like, there comes a point where we can back anything up with spirituality. And guess what? If you're on a spiritual path, you do this at times. I promise you, you have fallen into this trap. And it's okay. This is not something that we're gonna like shame and be like, it's so wrong, it's so horrible. I had actually a couple people comment on my post and people going, yeah, it's about awareness. And that really is what it is about. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing when you are trying to avoid self, because that's what we're doing in these times. We're avoiding ourselves, we're avoiding our connection, because a lot of times we use these things in a connection for our relationships, in a connection with even businesses. I hear people all the time going, you know, that's not aligned, or I'm going to just manifest it, I'm going to allow it, instead of doing maybe the actionable work that needs to be done. We like to hide from ourselves with this spiritual jargon and really throwing these things out. So it's about awareness. It's about slowing down. And I do believe that we are constantly cycling through this stage of basically spiritual development, of where we are stepping into finding a new kind of spiritual awakening, spiritual tool, spiritual concept, really even just honing in on something for a while, because we're like needing to focus in on it. And so we end up overusing it. It is this pendulum swing of we overdo something and then we underdo something, and then we oftentimes, if we're doing our work appropriately, if we're aware enough, if we're being present with self, we come to the middle and we do find a balance within that. But it is sometimes takes us to learn it, to go to one side and then the other. And it's awareness of recognizing, okay, maybe I went too far on that. Maybe that was aligned. Maybe that person wasn't being needy. Maybe I needed to step in. Maybe that was my ego. Maybe I was pointing at somebody else's ego when my ego was just as embroiled. It's not shaming yourself and going, I'm a horrible person because I use spiritual concepts and jargon to really back me. It's awareness and then changing it. It's about changing it. It's about going, am I really not aligned in this relationship? And we all can throw ourselves under the bus on this one. We really can. And I would love to hear. So if you're watching this video, if you have hung in this far with me, then please comment below. Let me know what's the time that you used spiritual backing to back yourself into disconnection, lack of love, really just actually pulling yourself away from your true self instead of backing and growing and expanding yourself. Give me an example. I know that I've had relationships where I've gone, this is just not aligned. This is just not an aligned relationship. I just need to disconnect. This isn't aligned. And in truth, I actually can look at my last relationship and go, there was a couple moments when I said, this isn't aligned, but in truth, what I was really saying was, this scares me. This moment right here scares me. This having to look at self in this area really is just stirring me. But in that moment, I was like, it's just not aligned. It's not aligned. It's not aligned. And so it is looking back and going, okay, where have I used this? And where can I fall prey to this? And then then making a difference in your current world. Making a difference in your current world in how you're using these spiritual concepts that are meant to expand us. And sometimes it is a tricky land, because the fact is, the spiritual concepts are true. It is true that we need to detach. It is true that we need to be selfish, that alignment is important, that we need to be checking our egos, that all of these spiritual concepts really are a beautiful foundation. It's how are you using them? When I was studying as a therapist years and years ago, there was this whole concept of do no harm. And that's really what we need to be looking at. Are we using our spiritual concepts to do harm, to hurt people, to say mean things and then go, it's not my fault, to really detach from love? And that's really what it comes down to. It's an awareness, but it's also checking, where are you detaching from love? Because if you're using your spiritual concepts from a space of love, you're not using it to belittle, you're not using it as a shield, you're using it to really connect. To really connect with a human being, to have compassion. Even if you need to say hard things, I've had lots of things said to me by friends, by family that are hard to hear, and yet they're from a tough love perspective. And they're spiritual concepts, but they're from a tough love perspective, so you can feel the difference in them. You can feel the difference. This is not saying we need to be rainbows and sunshine and not ever hurt anybody's feelings. No, that's bullshit. That is complete bullshit. Like, we will hurt each other's feelings, but it's, what are you going in with the intention? Are you going in with love? Are you using this to disconnect from love? So, and just recognizing where you're doing it. Seriously, just recognizing where you're truly doing this. Because on the spiritual journey, I promise you, you will do this. You will fall prey to it. You will even use your spirituality to make yourself feel better than the world. It's important that you recognize those moments and check yourself. Just check yourself and not belittle yourself. This is not to use that same stuff to belittle yourself. This is about awareness and just witnessing and going, wow, like, yeah, that was where I took my spirituality and I used it to bypass others. I used it to bypass myself. I use it to disconnect versus to connect deeper with self, spirit, and other. So I would love to hear where you found yourself doing this. Excuse me. I was eating something right before this, and now it's like all up in my throat. So if you are interested in getting more of these free coaching tidbits, getting your butt kicked, hearing my crazy unleashing, my all over unleashing, then please like my page. Hit the like, subscribe button. I would love that. I would love to hear your comments. So don't just like and subscribe. I want to hear what you think about this. I want to hear what your perspective is on this talk. I love when you guys engage with me. It's fun. It starts very expanding conversation. So it's amazing. So like and subscribe to my channel, to my page, Addison Bell. Other than that, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, head over to addisonbell.net and fill out an application to work with me, whether it's in person, online. I know all the COVID stuff has so many things online, so you can still work with me online, even if you're not in my area. I have events. I have just so much fun, exciting stuff going on this year. So head over to addisonbell.net to check it out. Other than that, I will see you beautiful followers tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed, and don't forget to grab that fire with it. All right, guys, I love you.